Hello, my name is Nwessel, and I just graduated with my English degree from Cal State University Fullerton, and I will be entering the Teacher Credential Program this fall. I'm taking this class this summer so that I have the background knowledge going into my student teaching, and I'm not taking it simultaneously with my student teaching. Because I have very little experience with English language learners, I wanted to make sure I had this background before going into my first semester of student teaching. I have worked some with English language learners. My background is in theater. I've worked in professional theater for 20 years. And while I've gone back to school full time, I've stopped working in professional theater, and I work part-time in the school districts, and I do technical theater there. So my most recent experience with an English language learner was a gentleman from Russia, and he had only been in the country for about 6 months, but his English was fluent. And I didn't even realize he was an English language learner until a few hours after working with him. And it was particular vocabulary that he didn't understand. And especially in written communication, our backstage forms that he had to read, he needed a little extra assistance and time to look over those things to make sure that they were clear to him. Working with him made me realize that not all English language learner students are going to be obviously needing assistance, and that it's important to remember, because you'll have the paperwork, you'll know that English is not his first language, and that sometimes just that little extra assistance is needed, and sometimes checking in with him to make sure that he fully understood some of the technical language that we were talking about. Since I haven't been in a formal classroom other than observations, my goal is to become much more knowledgeable on the techniques and processes involved in teaching English language learners. The PSYOP model that we've read about in some of our introductory readings is extremely interesting to me, and it sounds like an extraordinary tool to use in the classroom for all students, students of all levels and abilities. I'm hoping by the end of this class I will feel much more comfortable in the classroom and feel more confident in my ability to teach English language learner students. I believe it is a challenge for teachers today to include English language learners in the classroom, but from what I've learned so far in the education classes, the prerequisite classes for the Teacher Credential Program, is that it can be a welcome challenge for the teacher, and it can lead to be a benefit rather than a hindrance in the classroom. I firmly believe that a positive attitude going into a classroom about inclusion is imperative, and whether you're teaching a class of English language learners, you have learning disabled students, or any variety of challenging students in your classroom. In my own experience, I know I have benefited when everyone is included, and especially when instructors make it a policy to make the environment a positive one for all learners. And through group work and different challenges for different students, making it a positive environment, whether that student needs a little extra assistance or whether that student needs something a little more to challenge them and interest them in the topic. And I think the biggest challenge is making that content equally accessible and challenging for the students who need more of a challenge. Also making sure that students have an opportunity to succeed to their own abilities. It seems like extra work on one hand for the teacher, but the work itself becomes much more fulfilling and rewarding from what I've seen, read, heard. And my biggest goal is I hope to become a great teacher that is able to reach all of my students.